So I was installing it for them, and I got it installed, and that was fine. And I was like, oh, I can then press Alt Super S. I got the drum beat, and I was like, oh, cool, they added that back.
That's
Nice.
nice.
That means I can. I now know I'm at the login screen, so I can press. I can press Alt Super S and get speech on login and select the session type and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, didn't work. Didn't do anything. So I logged in with the password that we'd set, and I enabled speech again. And I was like, okay, maybe that's what you need to do. Kind of kludgy, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. And I, installed the stuff that they wanted. I gave them the computer,
Mm-hmm.
and I went away. I went to do my own thing.
Uh-huh.
They called me within like an hour
Uh-huh.
and said, I had to restart because updates and whatever. Because I don't remember what it was they were doing. They were doing something, and they were like, I had to restart my computer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. Basically, why are you calling me about this? Because I didn't know. I was confused. I was like, why are you calling me about this?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, well, I got this drum beat noise, but no kind of speech. And I was like, but I enabled it.
Oh.
What? I turned the toggle on for use assistive technologies in the settings. What? Why? So I was like, okay, can you log in and you should get speech then? Like, just type your password. It's fine. Whatever. It might just. I can fix it later for you. So please type your password and you'll get speech. And they typed the password, and they got nothing.
Of course.
So I was like, okay, press these keys. And then they did, and then they got speech. And I was like, but I can reboot my Debian system that I have been like minor version bumping for 4 years, and this just works.
Mm-hmm.
What? How? What is happening here?
Jesus Christ.
And so I Googled it,
Uh-huh.
and I found a script that was meant to fix this. Random script on GitHub.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be one of many of these. Random script on GitHub that is meant to patch around this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I looked at how it worked, and I was like, oh, it adds these lines to the lightdm greeter config file. Okay, I can do that. That's fine. I won't run this random script because no, thank you.
Fair. Yeah.
I can see what it does. I can see what it changes. I will change it myself.
Right.
So I changed it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work. I installed a different greeter.
Uh-huh.
Everything exploded.
Of course.
And I was like, what? How did installing a different greeter break this? I just lost. And then I was like, you know what? I'm really annoyed about this now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was the day after that I posted my first blog post.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a kind of some of the reason that a lot of that was focused so heavily on Ubuntu.
Right.
Was because that's
right.
what was fresh on my mind. Because I'd just been dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually what I ended up doing was I just ended up installing Debian for them.
Mm-hmm.
They've been very happy with that. I enabled tracking of backports so that they could get more recent versions of some stuff, but so they could get the more recent accessibility APIs and all that stuff, which isn't. It still breaks sometimes because the dependencies are weird. But overall, they're happy with that.
That's good.
And Canonical, if you're listening to this, just fix it. It's actually not that hard. Look at how Debian. You're based off Debian, okay? You already have the base.
Mm-hmm.
Just do that.
I know for a fact there are some Canonical engineers that do watch this, so if
please just follow. Look at how they do it, and do that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I understand you want your pretty graphical installer. I don't care. I want a thing where I can type numbers.
Yeah.
The Debian installer is amazing. It's like select a language and then gives you a list of numbers and you type the number and then it's like select this other thing and you type the number of the thing you want.
Mm-hmm.
Do it that way.
Let's see. I've never actually installed Debian.
I mean, the graphical installer for Debian does exist, but if you boot
the
a Debian
console installer.
yeah, if you boot any Debian image, actually, even the ones with the graphical installers,
Mm.
if you boot it and press S at the boot prompt, it will speak,
Oh.
and it will drop back to the old console installer. Um,
Oh yeah. Okay. So, when you boot into it, it gives you like a. I assume at the start. I don't know if this is an old one or not. Okay, this is from like 8 years ago, but it's showing where you can like press different letters and it'll take you into different parts. You can press I to go to
Yeah.
install. Okay, so it's still the same installer. Okay.
pretty much. Not exactly. It's more like it like guides you through it.
Right.
Maybe I'll demo it at some point.
Mhm.
To show people kind of what it does. But it's really, really straightforward and really easy.
Mhm.
And it enables the biggest thing for me is it enables speech on login,
Right.
right? Which no other installer actually does. Fedora doesn't do this. Ubuntu doesn't do this. Arch does if you configure it.
Cool. Well, yeah. Arch does a
Obviously.
lot of things if you configure it. Yeah.
Which I mean, it goes without saying, but I have to say it because someone's going to turn around and go, "Well, what about Arch?" Because people do that a lot.
Oh no!
Go,
what
"Well,
I
about
get
Arch?"
is NixOS fixes that every time.
I get that so much.
About.
Do you know how many times I've dealt with the NixOS fixes that people? Just from this post alone.
I'm sure.
NixOS fans, I'm going to say this now. I know it can fix that. Maybe read the rest of my post and you'll understand why it doesn't.
Right. Like, the reason why they bring that up with your post is because you talked about not updating things. So the NixOS people are pinning versions? That's what NixOS is. This is exactly what NixOS is for.
So you clearly didn't read the rest of it, did you?
Yes, go on.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
So yeah, I installed that for them, and they're very happy with it. And we have a Linux convert because I had the patience to sit down for, I think it like took about 3 hours in total, and that sounds like not a lot of time. But I can install Windows in 20 minutes.
Well, it's 3 hours for Ubuntu, like.
Yeah.
Like,
because it was just so. It was configured in such a backwards way.
My point with that is like Ubuntu is like generally considered a really easy thing to install, a really easy thing to get into, but it took you 3 hours to do it. Like that's a problem.
The install, like I said, the install was bad, but like it was the post-install thing is just not working.
Right.
Because they've transitioned like Thunderbird and Firefox to snaps. Firefox works great. Okay, I can use the snap version of Firefox. Don't want to, can. Snap version of Thunderbird doesn't because they don't enable the same dbus accessibility, whatever it is that whatever magic they do. I don't know because it's not documented.
Of course they don't. Why would they?
So they enabled this for Firefox.
Okay.
But they didn't kind of go, hey, maybe this other thing that's basically Firefox as an email app. Maybe we should do the same thing.
Jesus Christ.
So if I want to use Ubuntu, I have to rip out Snap anyway.
Yeah.
So like, why? Why would I use it?
Since you were talking about the Flutter installer, you did mention I think you mentioned Mate, but did you mention the old installer in your first post? I don't remember.
I didn't.
Okay, what was
I did actually. I said yes. Ubuntu Mate 12.04 had a navigable, workable, accessible installer.
Right.
Yes, I did. Yes, I may or may not be looking at the post at the same time.
If you need to reference your own post, that's totally fine. This is why I make some of my videos, so I can go back and reference them.
Yeah, I did. I did mention it.
Did that
and it was fine.
Yeah, did that sort of continue up until they like did the installer swap?
It was a very much slow boil of the frog.
I see.
So the installer always worked up until they did this. But other stuff would break over time. Like the login screen on, I think it was 2210. And okay, everyone's going to say, oh, you shouldn't use point releases. Point releases have newer accessibility software. Ubuntu doesn't do backporting properly.
Right.
If I want to use an up-to-date accessibility stack, I'm using the in-time releases. So like it just wouldn't work, and like again, these random scripts would pop up on GitHub to fix it. But now we're at the point where these people who've been driving Ubuntu for years and know how to work around it every time they break it, the newest script literally says, "I don't know why this doesn't work anymore." It has a comment in it that says, "This doesn't work.
Right.
I don't know why."
Oh my god.
It's not a good look.
No, definitely not.
It's not. But the you know what's even more like stupid about this whole thing?
Mm.
And I found this out afterwards. Linux Mint, the Mate version of Linux Mint, still uses the old installer, and then goes above and beyond with that. And if I enable speech at the login screen, which I can do, by the way, because it works, it will carry into the user session.
Wow. What a crazy innovation that is.
Right?
You change a setting and it remembers the setting. Wow, incredible.
Yeah. Amazing. But that version, I think that the latest version of Mint 22.1 is based on Ubuntu 24.04.
Right.
So how did they not break this? Like whoever at Mint checked this and then decided, because I'm guessing that's what happened here. Whoever at Mint checked this and went, "We can't ship that." Well done. No, you can't. But like, thank you.